I am here with Kobra Kai, the host and the MC here of Wrestlecore. If you were to explain Wrestlecore and what a new fan should expect, how would you break that down?
I would say that Wrestlecore is very much its own brand of wrestling. It's a little punk rock, it's a little cyberpunk, it's it's a fun time. It's definitely wild. It's a very alternative format for sure. One thing I can tell you is you can tell your friends about the show and they'll never believe you. It's something you kind of got to see for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And my next question was, why is it important for you to offer an alternative product?
Most, it wasn't like a huge mission statement thing. The way it worked out is myself and my wife, Calamity Kate, and co-producer, we wanted to put on a show that we wanted to see. And it turns out there's a lot of people out there who like the kind of weird stuff that we like too.
Yeah, for sure. You've had big name performers like Gigi Dolan pop by, Darby Allin, Luchasaurus, Trish Stratus. How is it explaining that concept to them?
So it's funny, sometimes I have to kind of warn people before they accept a booking with me. I say, hey, I'll send you some links, watch this, let me know if you're interested in working with us, because a lot of them haven't. But in case of the people you just mentioned, they had actually kind of reached out to me in some fashion and said, hey, we like your thing. There's his name's linked to my brain. Marty Scurll even reached out to me a couple months ago. He's like, I really like your shit. Can we do something together? And yeah, absolutely. Because again, people kind of gravitate towards stuff they like, and it's definitely different in the category,
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. The fact that they've reached out is so cool. It probably feels good to you too to hear that.
It very much does, but it's sometimes you're like, oh, they just want a booking. They haven't seen it yet, which is why if I don't feel that they've seen it yet, I'm like, hey man, here's a link. Take a look first before you ask for a booking.
You don't want to be too surprised.
Yeah, and no judgment at all. Sometimes some people were not their cup of tea. I've had a lot of people say to me like, hey, I think it's a cool show, but it's not for me. Yeah. And that's totally fine, man. That's why Baskin Robbins got 31 flavors,
Absolutely. Awesome. So tell me about your thoughts about the thriving Pacific Northwest scene in general.
I think the scene is exceptionally well developed. I think it's kind of a golden era of not wrestling, but a very specific golden era of indie or mid-indie wrestling. Things like Defy, Prestige, these things have really shown us that quote unquote independent is top notch. Is I think more fun in a lot of ways than the big majors the WWEs and whatever. But also there's just so much more room for creativity now. Here locally, there's a show called Boom that it's very different than mine, but I just love it. I love what they're doing because it's their own thing. It's not just some shitty low budget version of something you can see on TV. It's great. I love what they're doing.
Yeah, they're telling different types of stories that you're not really seeing in this.
Exactly. I love Defy's format, Prestige. There's a whole bunch all up and down the Pacific Northwest. Hood Slam is incredible. I gotta admit, it's a huge inspiration to me for sure. Hood Slam, locally, I love those guys at Boom, and I like our stuff too.
Yeah, it's been very good. So we had, like I said before the interview, we had a very pleasant interaction. Very briefly, you talked about your time with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, I guess generic Owenstein in those days. How does your background kind of lead you to what you're doing here at Wrestlecore?
So originally, people ask me how I got into wrestling, and it's kind of the exact same way you get into anything. You're a little kid, you like something, you meet someone who does it, kind of follow along their footsteps until it becomes sort of your own journey. And so my older brother's a pro wrestler and named Sinn Bodhi. He's a incredibly talented pro wrestler living out in Nevada. And he grew up with, and our childhood friends were Edge and Christian and stuff. And when I realized, oh man, these guys are wrestlers, I was the little brother who kind of tagged along. It wasn't my own idea for sure. And obviously, very different paths taken. And I worked very hard to become a pro wrestler. I was a pro wrestler for 6 years of my life, and I had a lot of crazy adventures and met a lot of people. And then, I was kind of reckless and stupid with my body, and it caught up to me. And a couple of surgeries later, turns out I'm a much better show producer than I ever was a wrestler, and it keeps me still in the scene. So I'm, it's not the life I would have chosen 20 years ago, but I'm really happy with the way my life in Wrestlecore is now.
You found out that you were human.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're still out on that one, bro.
Fair enough. A couple more questions for you.
Sure.
This is actually a question from a friend that I'm asking.
Okay.
What over-the-top Wrestlecore moment are you most proud of?
Oh man, there's just so many of them. You know what? I couldn't give you just one, but I can rattle off a few.
Yep.
Number one proudest moment was watching Calamity Kate just have an incredible match, because I'm just super proud of my wife, and on a very equal level of pride. Anyone who's close to me, who's done well in the show, if they can use this show to develop themselves, those learning moments are huge for me. My personal favorite moment that made me pop the most was our breakdancing deathmatch from Battleworld '88. But I can't tell you, I love every single performer that we have. If you see someone here more than once, I love them.
Yeah. And that means they love you back. They want to keep coming.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
2 more questions.
Of course.
Where can we find you on social media?
You can find I am at Fight Kobra Kai on everything. It's all in word, Cobra's with a K for copyright purposes. I think I got a Twitter. I'm pretty sure I have an Instagram. I might have a Facebook page. Possibly a TikTok. I spend a lot of time on TikTok, but I don't contribute to it.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to keep more in touch with the local scene, the local wrestlers, and what Wrestlecore is doing, it's at Wrestlecore, RLD, which used to stand for something, but doesn't anymore. And that's got an Instagram and a Twitter and a Facebook page, and I think a website too.
Cool, awesome. And then,
and a YouTube channel. And IWTV. Our good friends and partners at IWTV. The most Wrestlecore.
Awesome. And last question, if you can, plug any upcoming shows that you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have actually a couple cool announcements tonight. Our Infinity Championship title, the most dangerous title in pro wrestling history, will be defended by the current reigning champion, El Phantasmo, shortly, which I'll be announcing today.
Okay.
But we're also doing June 1st with our good friends at Parallel 49 to celebrate their 12th anniversary. And of course, the 6th anniversary of the show that started it all, Lucha Libre Spectacular, August 3rd and 4th. This is Lucha Libre Spectacular 666, and I hope to see everyone there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.